Hello, collectors, hobbyists, card aficionados, and sports fans. Tonight is closing night of session one of our winter card auction. Thank you for joining us. We've got session one closing tonight. Extended bidding begins at 10 p.m. Central Time. And then we've got session two tomorrow. Same drill. Extended bidding will begin at 10 p.m. Central Time. Tonight, we're going to run through some of our favorites, some highlights, some interesting pieces in the auction, help you as you're getting your bids in, maybe interest you in a few other items you hadn't noticed. It's quite a voluminous sale. I'm sad to say my usual partner, Geezy, will not be joining us this evening. He is at a show in Indianapolis, WrestleCon. For wrestling fans, I'm sure you're already there at Indianapolis, but you should go by and see Tony at the show. Feel free to put him in a bear hug or chokehold. He'd love all of it. But we're very excited because in our Platinum auction, which just opened, we have the Von Erichs collection consigned by Kevin Von Erich, wrestling legend, especially here in Dallas, where I am, and the Macho Man Randy Savage collection. Oh, yeah. So that material will be on display at the show and at our upcoming previews as well. But right now, we're going to focus on the winter card auction. And definitely the lead story from that is the Rounders collection. It's a single consigner collection, somebody that got involved in collecting as a kid in the 50s and 60s. And unlike most kids, they weren't playing games with cards. They weren't putting them in their bike spokes or in their pockets. They took meticulous care of their cards. Then they went away to college and left collecting and their card collection behind. But not long after, the mother called them to inform them that they were moving and they were going to get rid of the collection. A lot of mothers from that era did not have that courtesy and just threw the collections out, which that adds to the rarity of all this. But this collector's mother was different. She called to ask. They rescued them and saved them and got back into collecting. And as you can see from the collection, they knew what they were doing and had a real eye for condition. So there's some incredible offerings. There's high grade hobby classics, a massive collection of T206 cards, which is one of the big highlights. So many of them, you'll see at the end of the title, things like Pop 1, none higher, Pop 2, none higher. Some real low pop rarities in the T206 collection, an incredible collection of 1964 top stand-ups, and an unbelievable wax collection. So we're going to start with their collection just to hit some of the highlights. First off, got to talk about the E90 Joe Jackson American Caramel. Incredible card, one of the hardest to find in the industry, and this is just a beautiful example. It's an SGC X5, only 2 graded higher. It's one of the rarest cards and most coveted cards in the hobby, and this one's going to find a new home tonight. And then speaking about hobby classics, he has 2 incredible 1933 Gaudi entries. The Babe Ruth number 144, a favorite among many collectors because it's the full body pose of the Bambino swinging. And this one is a near mint to mint 8. Just a beautiful example. And then, of course, if you've got the Ruth Gaudi, you got to have the Garrick, and they have that one too. Number 92, also a near mint to mint 8, and the aesthetics on this one are just off the charts. This one's always a favorite among collectors, and you can see why. And then a little return to heritage lore with this next one, the 1910 E98 Ty Cobb. This was from the Black Swamp find, an undiscovered huge grouping of E98 cards that was discovered in Ohio by a family who was emptying and moving out their grandfather's house. Grandfather had purchased the cards in 1910 to distribute in his business, then forgot about them. They were left untouched in the same box with the intact twine. And that discovery pretty much doubled the known population of E98 cards. So some incredible high-grade examples, and no exception here. This one a near mint to mint plus 8.5. Pop 2 here on the Thai Cobb. And I can tell you, as I've seen this one in person, the red background is vibrant and brilliant. That is a special one that's also going to find a new home tonight. This is still all part of the Rounders collection. 1914 Cracker Jack Honus Wagner. The Cracker Jack, a legendary issue in the hobby. And this one, an X-Mint 6. Pop 3, none higher for the Wagner. This is one of my favorite Wagner cards. I just love the stoic look on his face, very contemplative. And like that Cobb E98 that we just talked about, the red background really blazing on this example. Always amazing to find high-grade or mid-grade examples of the Cracker Jack as they were put in the boxes with the Cracker Jack, and no caramel staining on this one, which is a pitfall of a lot of the Cracker Jacks. And the top of the pops continue in the Rounders collection. This is a 62 Topps Clemente PSA Mint 9, only one higher. 62 Topps collectors know how difficult it is to find high-grade examples of this card and any card in the issue because of that full bleed wood border that just shows any handling or damage. But as you can see from the images, this one is just pristine and one of the favorite from Clemente's catalog. And then this next one is, I feel, one of the more underrated cards in the Ted Williams pantheon. This is a 1950 Bowman Ted Williams. This is a mint 9, and the aesthetics are incredible on this one. None has ever graded higher, and the kid just looks spectacular in this. Great pose for William. Post swing, looking off in the distance like he just hit a dinger. You've got Fenway Park in the background, and this is an exquisite card, one that I'm really excited to see what it does. People always ask us, what's next? What's going to be the hot new trend in the industry? And often we tell people, look to those issues that don't have the iconic status and maybe aren't the most popular ones. Usually those end up getting discovered from the vintage era, and 1950 Bowman is one that it's popular, but for what it is and how beautiful the issue is, I don't think it gets the praise it deserves. So interesting to see if this one, which is one of the finest examples, Pop 14, none higher, can kick off a little fanfare for the 50 Bowman issue. And then sticking with Bowman, this is a 53 Bowman color Mickey Mantle in a PSA Mint 9, only one graded higher. Another kind of underrated vintage issue here. Great photographs for the fronts of all the 53 Bowman color, and the mantle is no exception, just a spectacular pose. And no better way to see it than on a PSA Mint 9. And then I mentioned earlier in the Rounders collection a voluminous amount of T206 cards. This was a favorite of the collector who put this collection together, and you can see why. A real eye for condition and also some rare add backs, which the T206 collectors love. And of course, we got to start with this one of the rarest T206 cards there is. Yes, the Wagner is the rarest and the most popular, but Eddie Plank here, Gettysburg Eddie, also incredibly rare. There's only 90 examples total in the PSA and SGC combined population of this card. Like the Wagner, a lot of rumors and innuendo about why that is. The commonly held there was a broken printer plate and it wasn't restored, so that's why there's so few. But only 90 in a slab of this card. So another highly coveted one from T206 collectors. And of those 90, not a lot of high-grade examples. This one's a VG3 and only 20 of the known examples have graded higher than this one. So not at the top of the pop, but for that tiny sample, this is one of the higher graded ones that exists. And of course, you can't talk T206 without Ty Cobb. This is the bat off shoulder example. And it has the old mill rare back of the varieties of backs. That is one of the more scarce ones. So always great to find one of the Hall of Fame keys from the T206 set with the rare backs. And this one's a near mint 7. So for Cobb, bat off shoulder, old mill, it's a pop 2 with just 3 higher. So many T206 cards have been graded by PSA, and people that are really into T206 break it down by the poses, the advertising backs, and that's what the pop information reflects. So one of the finest T206 Cobbs known. And then Cy Young is next. This one with the Piedmont back, which is a little more common, but a PSA near mint to mint 8, and any 8 for a T206 is just huge. This one for the Cobb portrait is a pop 4, just 1 higher. And this, in my opinion, the best Cy Young entry in the T206. Glorious portrait of the dominant pitcher with a glowing green background there behind him. As I said, there's almost 500 T206 cards in this collection. That's closing, most of them closing tonight. But we're just hitting the highlights. But of course, these are 6-figure and 5-figure cards. But for T206 collectors, there's some low pop, high grade examples that are at all ranges of collecting, whatever your level is. This is one of my favorites, the Christy Mathewson portrait. I love the background for that, and this has the rare old mill background as well in a near mint 7.5. So for Mathewson portraits with the old mill background, pop 1, none higher. This is the finest example here. Of note here, look at that border, how clean and bright it is. Slightly off on the centering, but the hues on this one really jump off the page and are going to jump off the card for the one person that is lucky enough to win it tonight. Extended bidding begins at 10 p.m. Central Time. And of course, we've got Christy Mathewson, the 2-hued background here with the white cap example. This one has the Piedmont back, which is more common, but also it's a near mint 8. So pop 4, none higher for a Mathewson T206. That is a beautiful example. And as I said, if you're a T206 collector, if you just dabble in T206 or you're looking to get in, this is a great collection to jump in because of the high pop examples across the board for Hall of Famers, for commons, a lot of different poses, a lot of rare backs included. So if you're one who's just looking for rare backs, it's going to be a big night for you. Also included in the Rounders collection is a nice grouping of 1964 Topps stand-ups. It's a miracle these even survive. So these were die cuts that were meant to be popped out and then folded, and many were. But this is a complete set being sold individually. It's the number 2 current finest set being broken up. And here we've got Mickey Mantle, and this one is beautiful in a PSA 9, none higher. And it's got all your favorites. Of course, this is the complete set. So there's a Roberto Clemente in a 9. There's an Ernie Banks in a 9. That one also at the top of the pops. Pop 2, none higher. And then we've got the Roberto Clemente, the 2 entries here. That's a mint 9, none higher as well. That's one of those under the radar sets, but top of the pop examples closing tonight. And then what's interesting is the Rounders collection. We'll cap off that discussion here with an incredible collection of baseball wax packs from the 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, including a complete run one from every issue from 53 to 79, and nice high-grade examples. There's the 53 Topps Baseball Series 1, 5 cents there. Is what it cost to get that pack in 1953, but it's going to have a 5-figure result tonight. And I love the 55 Topps issue, so had to show this one. Also 5 cents there to get that. So check out the Rounders collection at ha.com. You can just search Rounders and it'll bring up the entire collection. But plenty more than just the Rounders collection in the auction. Some amazing basketball offerings as well. And the one that kicked it off right here, the 48 Bowman George Mikan rookie. This one in the SGC tuxedo, a near mint to mint 8, and beautiful aesthetics and presentation on this one. Just a stunning example for SGC in an 8. It's a Pop 5 3 higher, one of the most important basketball cards there is. And then since PSA started grading the 84-85 Star Company cards, that has really lit up in the hobby. People are very interested in it. His true rookie. So the 86 Fleer rookie of Jordan, PSA has graded almost 30,000 examples of that card. It is believed for the Star Company card, 5,000 total were printed. So it is far rarer. And, we're just getting started grading them. So more are going to enter the population report. But for the 86 Fleer Jordan, there's 330 plus PSA 10s right now for the Star card, none. This one in an 8.5, only 3 have graded higher. So a important Jordan card, his true rookie, and a high grade example that is going to be closing tonight. And then another Jordan rarity here. They rarely come up on the auction block, so it's always an occasion and heated bidding when they do. This is the Skybox Metal Universe Precious Metals Gem Ruby Red Jordan. So the gems were numbered to just 100. This is 67 out of 100, and a nice example as well. But one of the most coveted Jordan cards, and when it comes up on the auction block, there's always, let's call it spirited bidding, and we expect that tonight as well. And then it's always nice. 97 Skybox is already a record price for an Iverson card. One of his rarest cards, and Iverson incredibly popular, and his cards are starting to get the recognition they deserve for his place in the pantheon of basketball history. But this one we took in at the Toronto card show. It was raw. Person came up to us at our booth. They didn't really know what it was. They weren't real familiar with the modern side of the hobby, and they just had this for a while in their collection. And we told them it was high 5 figures. They were blown away, and it's already into 6 figures. So very interested to see how high that goes tonight and where it's going to set the record. It's already at the record. And now, for people who watch our closing shows and our content often, we've been talking about for a couple years now, the popularity of signed vintage cards has really exploded. And it's just rare. And a lot of us feel it's because new people came in the pandemic, people came back, and that was a segment of the hobby that wasn't really getting the money or love. And a lot of people are behind it now, and we're seeing great results. So got an 86 Fleer Jordan rookie that's signed with a 9 autograph from Jordan. Nice example here. Really tough to find signed Jordan rookies. And guess what? He's not signing much these days. So if you need one, you're probably going to have to buy it at auction or find it already slabbed. But vintage examples as well. We've got this signed 52 Topps Willie Mays with an 8 autograph. That is a gorgeous example there. It's these signed vintage ones that collectors are really coveting now. And of course, we have Mantle signed cards, which I love this 54 Red Heart Mickey Mantle. Just where he signed and the quality of the autograph, a 9 autograph, but always nice when they took the time to put it into the correct place. And the Mick certainly did that here. Then we also have a 56 Topps Mantle. This is the grayback signed by the Mick with a 10 autograph from Mantle. And I brought this one up because the 56 Topps, very busy card. It's got the background action shot. The portrait doesn't leave a lot of room below the head, so tough to find a spot to sign. But Mantle did it here. This is the best spot to sign on the card. And the Mick put a 10 autograph on this one. And then one I hadn't seen signed. There are a few out there, but this is the 74 Topps Wilt Chamberlain. I love this card for a couple reasons. It just screams 70s to me, the graphics and the aesthetics. And him with the Conquistadors and a great autograph from Chamberlain here. Same thing, tough card to find a spot to put the autograph, but he did what he could and signed up along the top. So it's got a BGS 9 autograph from Wilt the Still. And rookies are always the most popular. And as far as gridiron rookies are concerned, the Walter Payton 76 Topps rookie is a favorite. Some say the greatest running back of all time. Us Cowboy fans have him slotted at number 2, but this is a signed example from him. Once again, when it comes to these signed cards, placement is crucial, and great placement here from Sweetness in the upper left-hand corner with a Beckett 8 autograph. And while we're on football, we should mention another great Bears running back. This is Gale Sayers, rookie, in a PSA Mint 9. None higher. There's no 10s. And for those that collect 66 Philadelphia issue, they would tell you there's probably not going to be a 10 that comes out. Very tough to find 10s in that issue or even high-grade examples. So a beautiful one here from the Kansas Comet. And then I wanted to bring up this next one. It contains my favorite card from my youth. This is the 89 Score Football. This is a complete set with 8 error cards as well. And this set is ranked number 1 all-time finest on the PSA registry. I am a Cowboys fan, so this has the Troy Aikman rookie card with that glorious mullet that Aikman was sporting at the time. But you've got Barry Sanders and Dion as well. Great set. You know, this is from the junk wax era, but a lot of nostalgia and a very popular set still. But this is the best of the best right here. The number 1 all-time finest, and it has the 8 error cards. So gotta love that. We have a really nice grouping of modern football cards. Of course, we've got plenty of Mahomes cards with his Super Bowl appearance coming up next week, going for 3 straight Super Bowls. But we also have a fantastic 2020 Panini Immaculate Collection, Joe Burrow. This is one of the finest Burrow cards that exists, and it is a gorgeous example with the NFL Shield patch and a 10 autograph from Burrow. Maybe one of these seasons the Bengals could get off to a hot start instead of getting out of the gate so slow and then having to struggle to try to get into the playoffs. But Burrow already has a Super Bowl appearance under his belt, and I think a lot of people believe he has a bright future. So interested to see where this Burrow one ends up. And another one we're interested in is the 2022 National Treasures Brock Purdy. This is the rookie dual material holo gold example. Obviously quick success to Purdy's career. A couple Super Bowl appearances already. This one in a mint 9 and is numbered 1 out of 10. So interested to see, he's getting the new contract, where his career, and so with all those metrics in flux, despite all his success, interested to see where this card is going to end up tonight. Then one of my favorite things, and slightly underrecognized because they're hard to display, but we have an incredible selection of uncut sheets in this auction. And we mentioned the Jordan Precious Metal Gems earlier. This is a 97 Skybox Metal Universe Precious Metal Gems football uncut sheet with 100 cards. One of the most coveted series because of the limited edition. So this makes a great display piece, especially if a collector comes into your den, your office, your man cave, and you have this hanging up. Really unbelievable to see the Precious Metal Gems in an uncut sheet. And this one has so many stars. It's got the rookies of Tony Gonzalez, Walter Jones, Orlando Pace, Tiki Barber. And then as far as Hall of Famers, you've got Brett Favre, Emmitt Smith, Deion Sanders, Dan Marino, and Barry Sanders. Really cool uncut sheet. And the nerd in me requires that this one be brought up. This is the 1977 O-Pee-Chee Star Wars Series 1 uncut sheet. Great non-sports set. Obviously, Star Wars, one of the best IPs there is out there. And so this is 132 cards, which is 2 complete sets in one uncut sheet. And, you've got rookie cards from Luke Skywalker here, Han Solo. So really desirable from the non-sports group. And then lastly, our comics department has always done really great with their original art. We don't see a lot of original art in sports. We do get the original photos, but we do have some original art in this auction. We have the 1949 Bowman Wild West set, the original art for about a dozen of the cards. And these are just great examples, a really popular non-sports set. And I love all the action scenes. We've got the stagecoach robbery in this one, In the Nick of Time, James Marshall, Cowboys, the Range War. So very cool display piece as well, especially if you're a non-sports collector or interested in that cowboy culture and Western movies. Really unique offering here. So extended bidding for session 1 begins tonight at 10 p.m. Central Time. And then we've got session 2 closing tomorrow night. Same thing. And I should mention our Platinum auction, the premier event in the hobby, is open for bidding as well. And we've got plenty of show appearances coming up almost every weekend over the next few months. So if you're going to a show, be sure to look out for us. We'd love to talk to you. We do free appraisals, or let's just talk hobby. And you can always get in touch with me and Tony. Tony's Tony G at ha.com. I'm Mike P at ha.com, but I also run our social media. So feel free to DM us there. We'd love to talk to you and help you out. Thank you to all of our consigners, and good luck to the bidders tonight. Go after what you're getting. Clock's ticking, and we'll see you next